is up, guys? We are live. Could this be Tom Brady's last game, Ellie? I mean, have we ever really stopped to think about that? I mean, it could be. We're about to find out, right? Welcome to the show, guys. Rams versus Buccaneers, showdown slate for DraftKings. And we're live. First live show of the season for NFL. Ellie, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I think yesterday was kind of surprising, to be honest with you. I think I was expecting a little bit different from both of the, the number one seeds in the NFL in their respective divisions, and that just didn't work out. So I'll take my big L on that one. We'll move on to today. I'm wondering if we're going to see some more dogs take it. Like, yesterday was crazy, man. That was insane. Like, I don't even really get the Cincinnati one. I mean, how do you get sacked 9 times and still win the game? Like, Joe Burrow's and that team, they're on another level. And then major kudos to San Fran.
Oh, man.
They went into Green Bay and shut shit down.
Incredible.
You know who broke it, right? You know who changed what happens there at Lambeau Field?
What?
Michael Vick. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Michael Vick was the first one to win a game in Lambeau because of that dumbass 60-yard run. I remember I was making tamales with the girl I was seeing in 8th grade back in Arizona. So,
dude, both number one seeds get knocked out, one and done by kickers at the buzzer. I mean, that's just crazy, man. And after Green Bay started that first drive and just drove down and just absolutely dominated, I was like, this is over. This is what we expected. And they couldn't get back in the end zone the rest of the game. It's crazy, man. All right, but now we're talking another NFC game here in Tampa Bay. Shouldn't have to deal with any weather. Should be in the 50s. Nice temperature out there. I don't know, man. Do the Rams have a shot here? I think the Rams are being hyped up quite a bit because of that absolute domination against Arizona. But in my opinion, I think that's it's kind of hard to judge them by that because I'm not trying to take anything away from the Rams, but the Cardinals played like absolute dog shit, and they have been playing like dog shit for 5-6 weeks. So I think LA is getting a little bit more credit than they probably should going into this game. I still think they do have a shot, but to me, I think this is a dominating win for Buccaneers. I think this is like a 35-21 game, in my opinion. But what do I know? We screwed
I'm
both
not
of those
saying
games
shit
up.
about this anymore. Look, here's the thing. Someone said it pretty eloquently on Twitter last night, which is kind of shocking, given it's Twitter. But
hang on, your mic is fell down, is on your chest right now.
Check. 1, 2. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, I'll lean in just a little more. God damn it! All right,
the glory. It's a live show, so this is what we're dealing with.
Excuse me. Yeah, and look, Tom Brady is literally just 2 mistake-prone teams away from another Super Bowl. Like, the last thing you want to do against a Tom Brady team is commit mistakes and little bullshit penalties and things like that. And just kind of looking back, I will admit we missed a little bit on the Packers special teams unit. I didn't realize they were that awful. Had I known that, I might have had a little bit more exposure to the San Francisco defense. I might have been willing to take a few more stabs there. But
yeah,
I'm curious to see how either of those teams. I mean, even the Packers against Tampa Bay, it's not going to end well, right? I think Tampa Bay is just a really disciplined and really well-coached team right now. We did get some inactive news that we'll get into here in just a second that is going to be pretty impactful, I think, for this game. And honestly might make it a little bit closer than what we were expecting just because the impact it has on the pass rush for LA. But, yeah, man, I'm pretty certain we're going to end up with another Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes Super Bowl here.
It could.
I don't want to go too far out on the limb here and say LA is going to lose, but this is one that we should be pretty confident about Tampa Bay taking home.
So we will be doing another show tonight. I don't know if we'll be live or not. We'll figure that out. But we will be doing another show for that Bills and Chiefs game.
Can't be live.
Oh, we can't be live. Okay. All right. We'll do it beforehand then. But that will most likely premiere during halftime of this game that we're talking about. Most likely. We'll figure it out. Maybe after the game. I don't know. So anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. Go ahead and subscribe. Help us out. We're very close to hitting our goal here for our giveaway. 500 subscribers. We're 10 subscribers away. So let's get that on this show. If we get it on this show,
you may have to pull back on that rookie card thing. After Joe Burrow's win last night, he has more wins than any other Bengals quarterback in like the past 200 years.
Hey,
it's probably worth more than anything else.
Giving away the Joe Burrow base rookie graded. We're giving away the Justin Herbert. So all you got to do is comment down below in the comment section, not in the live chat. Comment down in the comment section. We'll be giving that away. I'll choose 2 random winners. All right, let's get into this game, man. So injuries, Ellie, talk to me about some of the stuff you're seeing now. You're seeing Tristan Wirfs is officially out. That's huge news, and we're seeing Civil Grayson is out as well for this game.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 biggest that we need from the Buccaneers side. I think taking out Cyril Grayson is going to obviously open up some opportunities for Shelby, Scotty, Miller, whatever dude from Peaky Blinders, that guy. And then Tristan Wirfs is out. I think that really opens up some concerning pass rush issues. We saw last week once Wirfs went down, there was a little bit harder. They had a little bit harder time kind of keeping that tackle spot locked down. So I am curious to see how that works. The Rams have, as everyone knows, Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and Leonard Floyd, right?
Yeah, Leonard Floyd. Yeah, the holy trinity of pass rush. About to, hey, the O-line is ranked number 2, Buccaneers-wise, by PFF. And Tristan Wirfs is the best ranked out of all those guys. So it's a huge deal. And especially considering that the Rams, their pass rush, they have 50 sacks on the season, which is 3rd in the NFL, and quarterback hits, they're 13. So they're going to be putting some pressure on Tom Brady, and Tom Brady really hasn't been feeling pressure at all this year. He's one of the best protected quarterbacks in the NFL. So it's going to be tough, man. There's a lot going on here. The Rams defense, I think, gets a huge boost in this game, especially considering we don't have guys like Godwin, and Tyler Johnson is the number 2 wide receiver on this team at this point. But the fact that Cyril Grayson is out, I kind of like that, because now we're going to open up some serious value on the bottom end for some of these Tampa Bay wide receivers, which is nice. Anything else to talk about here?
Yeah, absolutely. There's one more thing that I think goes back to your point about the Cardinals kind of just underwhelming last week. This is still a secondary. The Rams secondary still is missing Taylor Rapp, and I don't even know some of the other guys on their team, right? Yeah. But they are missing a lot of pieces in the secondary. Eric Weddle had 19 snaps last week. Tom Brady isn't going to let depleted secondary stop his offense, right? Yeah. Fully expect BA, fully expect Tom Brady in this offense to attack that secondary today. There's no reason that Mike Evans and Gronk can't absolutely crush.
Yeah, absolutely. So LA obviously traveling to Tampa Bay, good weather. Tampa Bay minus 145 in the money line. It's 2.5 point spread. Has that changed at all recently, Ellie? You want to check that while we're live here?
No.
As of
it's
now,
still 2.5.
It's
under. It's at 48 as a total still.
48 as a total. Okay. Yeah. You've seen both of these games yesterday hit the under, definitely, like big time. I don't think I expected to hit the under. I think this could be a shootout. Do you agree with me?
I kind of think this one hits the under. I think Tampa Bay wins, and it hits the under, and I think they do that because their defense just kind of shuts down the Rams. The Rams do have one of the, I think they actually have the best pass protection offensive line in the NFL. But they're going to have difficulty kind of establishing the run against what the Buccaneers do. So
yeah,
I really think that we're probably going to hit the under here, or the under.
And interestingly enough, it's going to be tough to build today because we have some studs that we want to fit in at captain. Cooper Kupp is obviously a guy that you want to prioritize. For me personally, I'm not going to be putting Cooper Kupp at captain because he's probably going to be double the next highest owned captain. He's probably going to be in the 20% range or higher at captain. And when it comes to that, a guy that expensive, I'd rather just bet on the fact that maybe he has just an average game. An average game for him is 15 to 17 points probably. I think his lowest total of the entire year was like 11 fantasy points, and that was once against the Cardinals in like week 4. So you could pretty much bank on the fact that this guy's going to get you 15 fantasy points. But I don't necessarily think you have to have him in the captain. If you get another guy like Mike Evans who scores 2 touchdowns, or playoff Lenny, any of these guys that go off who are way less priced and allow you to fit in a lot of those guys in the flex, I just personally don't like having him at captain. And I'm probably not going to have any Tom Brady. I'm probably not going to have any Stafford at captain. I'm going to stick with some of these other guys. So let's just get into this breakdown, man. You want to do it?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. Break it down. All right, so obviously we're starting off with quarterbacks like we usually do. Hit us up in the chat, guys. We're live. We love talking to you guys. Let us know what your thoughts on some of the stuff we're saying. If you think we're full of shit, let us know. If you agree with us, let us know. Just talk back and forth with us. We appreciate that. So Tom Brady is 10.8K, which is pretty low for him considering. You got Matt Stafford at 10K. Probably a pretty good price for him. We probably can't do two quarterbacks in this game if we want to do Cooper Kupp and if we want to do a pretty good captain. Just building before the show, it's almost impossible to do like a Mike Evans, both quarterbacks, and a Cooper Kupp. It's just not really doable unless you punt like twice, and I don't want to do that. So we're gonna have to probably make a tough decision here. We either punt at captain with like a Van Jefferson type guy or a Higbee or something like that, and get both quarterbacks, or we are gonna have to prioritize one guy. So what are your thoughts here? If you had to lean towards one dude in this game, what do you think?
This isn't earth-shattering by any means, but I'm leaning towards Tom Brady. It's
no way, really?
I mean, what else am I supposed to say? It's Tom Brady against a depleted secondary. If there's a time for him to go off, this is probably going to be it. And I mean, dude's been pretty consistent all year long, right? He probably should be the MVP now that Aaron Rodgers got eliminated in the first playoff game, right? So, I'm actually, by the way, sidetrack here, but I really hope that works out because I was putting a lot of money on Tom Brady as the season went on and kind of stopped there once Aaron Rodgers took over.
Yeah.
But anyways, look, man, I love Tom Brady for this matchup. I'm going to have as much as I could possibly get to. To your point, you're not going to be able to play both quarterbacks very often unless you're stacking Tom Brady with like Gronk and Scotty Miller, Shelby Miller, the Miller guy, and then Tyler Johnson. So I might be uncomfortable kind of running both those guys, Miller and Johnson, but we'll see when we kind of get to lineup builds. Other than that, you're going to be forced to make a decision. Do you want to play Matt Stafford or Cooper Kupp? Do you want to play both and then fade Tom Brady? And I really think that that's kind of the most important part of this is you're going to have to concentrate on what you're doing and what you're building for with each lineup to make sure that you're stacking the right people, right? So that said, I think you kind of stay with the field with each guy and kind of just build lineups that you're comfortable with. But I'm prioritizing Tom Brady, especially at $800 difference in price. Yeah. I understand that they have it priced this way so that I mean, you can't have everybody priced at 11.5 or 12K, right? On a slate like this. So I think the pricing is going to be a little bit tighter, but even then, like if I can pay up $800, it's really not that big of a deal to get Tom Brady. I don't think saving that 800 is going to take me from Tyler Johnson to Mike Evans, right? So
yeah, and I think look with Matt Stafford, I think a key here is we know that Todd Bowles is going to blitz. You know, they're the number one blitz team in the league when it comes to percentage-wise. They're blitzing them all the time. And they're number 2 in quarterback hits. So that's a big deal to me. Now the blitz, when it comes to going against Stafford's great against the blitz. He has a 139.6 rating when he's getting blitzed. The key is, if they can actually put pressure on him, his rating drops all the way to 63. So you got a team that's number 2 in quarterback hits with a great defense who can really put pressure on him. We're possibly going to see another one of these Matt Stafford interception games. I mean, I think it can happen today where he comes out and he struggles. We all saw him last week do great. I don't think it's going to be like that this week against this defense. As long as Todd Bowles can actually get hits on him, I think it really affects him. I think that's the key to this game, in my opinion. Anything else to talk about here with Matt Stafford, Tom Brady? Besides the fact that if you put him at captain, you know, be sure to put like at least 2 of their pass catchers in the flex.
No, nothing. But I did just come across something interesting about Odell Beckham. So remind me when we get to wide receivers.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go to running backs here. Let's start with Tampa Bay. This is probably a little bit easier of a situation to talk about. So obviously, playoff Lenny's back. He's active. He will be starting. But does he get full reps? I don't know. this is Bruce Arians. Who knows what's going to happen, man? He could come out and absolutely get 100% of the reps. Giovanni Bernard could get a good amount. Keyshawn Vaughn could. I think we're safe with Leonard Fournette getting lion's share of the reps and also getting a lot of targets out of the backfield. We've seen him do well this year with that. They wouldn't have activated him if he wasn't going to play. Like if he wasn't going to be all in, I don't think they would have. So playoff Lenny at $9K, it's a good price for him. There's a lot of high price guys on this slate you want to get to, but I think you got to try to prioritize him. I think people might be a little bit scared of him. His ownership might dip a little bit because of that injury status. Do you agree with that? We'll get to these backups here in a minute, but what are your thoughts on playoff Lenny this game?
Yeah, I'm really kind of hesitant on him. I think ownership is going to really decide my exposure to him overall. Again, I think it's just really hard to not prioritize Tom Brady and pass catchers and some combination thereof, right? At 9K, I think I'd rather play the or the much more discounted Gronkowski. And I think you get a little bit higher upside. Of course, with that being said, Leonard Fournette's going to have 150 and 3 touchdowns. But look, I think you can kind of hedge yourself a little bit if you're keeping him out of the flex, but just running a lineup with him a captain or two, right? I think he's a decent captain choice if he has one of those playoff Lenny games. You're probably going to want him there anyways. But at 9K, he's going to get 15, 16 points to kind of pay off here. Yeah. So I don't necessarily know if that's something that he's going to be looking at. I don't know if he's going to get prioritized with the volume. Giovanni Bernard, I mean, you brought up an interesting point. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but looked like they averaged under 4 yards per carry, 3.5 per carry last week without Lenny.
Yeah.
I don't know if they really needed anything more from that team. They got the points that they needed out of the backfield. And Gio he had 7 targets with 5 receptions. So I don't know if he's going to see that volume. Probably not, obviously, with Lenny being in. But again, like if they're not necessarily needing him to really power through the defensive line, I can see them using Gio and Keyshawn Vaughn a little bit more to kind of just help ease him into it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's a little bit steep price tag given the unknown and the uncertainty. And considering the way the BA treats these running backs, it could easily be Keyshawn Vaughn that ends up starting and get 90% of the snaps just because.
Because why not? BA. Yeah, because why not? Yeah. Exactly. I mean, look, we don't have Ronald Jones to worry about, which does make things a little bit more clear, especially around the goal line. But look, Leonard Fournette hasn't played since week 15, so I think there is a question mark there. Me personally, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I personally think that I'm going to make a stand on him, and I'm going to be over the field. I think you got to make a stand one way or another with him in this particular game. A guy at 9K, you either got to sprinkle him in a few lineups or you got to go heavy on him. And I think I'm going to go captain, and I think I'm going to go in the flex with him. That's just my personal opinion on it. And he should be around that 30% ownership range, which is too low for him for a normal playoff Lenny week. So Giovanni Bernard's 5,200, Keyshawn Vaughn is 5K. Both of these guys are in play. I think you got to lean a little bit more towards Gio Bernard. And as long as you think that Lenny is going to get the snaps, I think you got to fade Keyshawn. If I would consider doing Fournette and Bernard in the same lineup, but I'm not doing any Lenny and Vaughn in the same lineup. And in fact, I might just fade Keyshawn altogether because I'm going to go heavy on Fournette. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I can't pay $5K for Keyshawn Vaughn. I don't mind Gio Bernard at 5,200. I'm not prioritizing him by any means. Honestly, as we talk through this, I think I might be closer to fading the Tampa Bay backfield than anything else. The only person I'm truly interested in is Leonard Fournette. With Gio just being priced at 5,200, it makes it really hard to get there. If he was 2,200, that would be fine. But obviously, DK was pricing like Fournette was on IR or out, or inactive, whatever he was listed as yesterday. So, I'm right there with you, except for the Fournette take. I think I might be under where you're looking to be even or over.
Looks like you got a nuclear holocaust going on there. Looks like your lighting changed a little bit. Who cares? It's all right. We got a live show going. It's all good. I think our stream is fine. Let us know in the chat if you guys are seeing any weirdness with our stream. I think it's okay, though. All right, so let's move on to Let's move on to the Rams running backs here, man. This is going to be interesting to talk about. So Cam Akers looked really good last week. Besides, pretty much almost ending Buda Baker's career there, and then talking shit to him afterwards. But he looked good. Cam Akers looked fresh. He looked fast. He still didn't have like a world-breaking game. He only had 10 fantasy points, 17 carries, 55 yards. 2 targets and a reception. Didn't score a touchdown. If he did score a touchdown, it would be a lot different. But look, you got Sony Michel at 5,600. So now we all think that Cam Akers is going to be the guy. What do we do here, man? Like, Cam Akers is going to be definitely more popular than Sony Michel. But are we 100% sure that Sony Michel is going to get completely left? Is he going to get 20% of the carries? Is he going to get 30%? I don't know, man. What do you think?
I don't know that they're going to really be involved all that much anyways. I think that they're going to probably be split down the middle, Cam and Sonny Michel. But I'm more of the position that I think you fade kind of the backfield here as well. I think you take Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and another pass catcher. They're just not priced right for me. Sonny Michel is a little interesting at 5,600 just because I don't think DraftKings really knows where to price him. But this is a good run defense, and I just don't know that they're gonna be able to do much against it. Sonny Michel he has a little bit of experience. He's a veteran back, so I think he would probably fare the best against this defense. But Cam Akers, again, we can't take too much stock in what happened with the Cardinals last week. They suck. They are a really bad run defense. They are bad against running backs, and last week they just looked like a fucking G League team, right? That showed up to play football for a day. So let's not overestimate Cam Akers, season-breaking performance last week. Yeah, they're going up against a really disciplined team. They're going up against a really good defense, specifically rush defense. And this is his second game, right? Yeah, we count the Cardinals game as his first full game. This is going to be an opportunity for him to kind of get a little dominated here. So
I think one thing to bring up here is last week against the Eagles, the BUCS didn't have a great game stopping the run against the Eagles. Obviously, look, it was a blowout. It wasn't really that big of a deal. But I think if there's any weakness in this defense, it's the Buccaneers' rush defense. And, Sony Michel and Cam Akers could have a decent game. The thing that scares me is not picking the right guy here. On the other side of the ball, picking Lenny Fournette, that's easy for me. But I think Cam Akers is going to be overhyped slightly, and he could be overowned at 7,400. And a guy like Sony Michel could easily come in and vulture a touchdown from him, which would probably ruin Cam Akers' day if he doesn't score a touchdown.
So are you leaning Sonny?
I'm leaning neither / Sonny. Because I honestly think Cam Akers, he looked good. It's very risky, but I think he's being overhyped in a game that the Cardinals defense sucks ass, man. I could go out there and run against them. Not to take anything away from Cam Akers because he did look good, but I think he's going to be overowned. I honestly do. Kyle in the chat's talking about Tyler Johnson at captain. Ellie, I think you answered that pretty well. I think you can throw a couple stabs at that, right? But it's a little bit too risky in my opinion. There's guys who can absolutely go off in this game. I don't think he's one of them.
And even if he does, if he's 3% owned a captain, all those lineups are going to be the same, right? You're not putting in Tyler Johnson so that you can also play, Tyler Higbee. You're putting him in at captain so you can put Kupp, Stafford, Brady, all those guys in. So it's going to be duped.
And when I did a basic crunch today, with no settings or anything, just basic projections, Tyler Johnson was in 80% of my lineups because Cooper Kupp was in 99% of my lineups, either captain or flex. So Kupp and Johnson together, that's going to be a pairing that you're going to see a lot. And if you just want to mix it up a little bit, you grab one of these other guys like Scotty Miller or any of these other guys. So let's actually move on to the wide receivers here. We have about an hour to lock-ish. So let's just keep this moving. Cooper Kupp is 11.4K. His price came down a little bit from last week, but still, most expensive dude. You're going to want to make a decision on him. Typically speaking, I'm going to be the kind of guy who just plays him in the flex, locks him in, and has him in 90% of my lineups. Today, I don't know, man. I'm getting this weird bug. It might be a suicide mission, but Cooper Kupp, I might be a little bit under the field on him. I might just make a decision to be under the field on him and hope it works out for me. But it's a suicide mission, I admit. But if it does go right, if it's a 1 in a million chance that he doesn't have that 15-point fantasy game and he's under, I have so much leverage. It's probably stupid, though, don't you think? It's probably stupid to do that.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I think you're fine even going with the field. I mean, he's probably going to be like 50, 60% owned. So
75, I bet. I bet you he's 80% total.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. If you're thinking he's going to be that high owned, then coming in at 50, 60%, honestly, I think is safe and under the field. So I might actually be closer to you with that.
Yeah.
I didn't even consider some of the captain ownership. I'm just thinking of just the flex percentage. But yeah, you're dead on, man. Like I think being around 50 to 60% with Cooper Kupp is about where I want to be. I'm not going to have any captain with him, just because he is too pricey. Maybe one just to hedge, but and if you can get him in your flex lineups, you need to prioritize him. If not, just make sure that you're being mindful of putting in the guys that you think are going to get the volume because he's not. Or if you think that they're getting shut down offensively, then make sure you're building the rest of your lineup accordingly, right? Don't fade Cooper Kupp because you think they're getting shut down.
Cooter
Kupp, man. Anyways, don't fade Cooter if you think the Rams offense is getting shut down and then end up running Odell Beckham and ODB and Van Jefferson.
Let me know in the chat. Am I an absolute idiot for thinking about fading Cooper Kupp? I don't know. Maybe I am, but I'm thinking about it.
Here you go, man. Here you go. So I got one. I got something for you. So just kind of transition off your Cooper Kupp thing. I think I got the guy that you can play instead. So November 12th, when Odell Beckham signed with the Rams, we all know that he took his salary in Bitcoin, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh God.
It was worth $65,000 then, and obviously Bitcoin
65 million. What? Oh yeah, 65. Yeah, per coin. Yeah,
Bitcoin was worth
like in the 30s.
Yeah, it's in the 30s. So he's lost half of his initial signing value, right? So he needs to win this game to get paid another $750,000. Now, granted, it's going to be close to, the $400,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, so no, since he's in California, he got taxed at 50% based off the initial $750,000 yeah. So he's not getting he's netting $35,000 this season right now as of today. So anyways, look, long story short, the dude needs to win this game to make some money. So if there's a narrative, if I've ever seen one, dude's going to be broke if he doesn't go out and ball out.
Odell's going to have to start doing some USAA commercials here if he doesn't win this game.
Yeah, we're going to have a mic'd up with him instead of Gronk this time. Like, I got to go get a real job.
So Odell Beckham, he has a touchdown in 6 of his last 8 games. It's pretty nice. He's obviously taken the one guy that got absolutely screwed in this deal. It's better for the team, but not necessarily for Van Jefferson. Odell Beckham sort of took that outside deep threat role from Van Jefferson. He still gets you 4 catches a game or something like that. Van Jefferson does, but I really don't like him that much anymore. He's at 4,800. He probably will be forgotten about, probably be around the 20% range, but I just don't like him that much in this particular game. You're probably going to get one chance for him to break the slate, and it's going to be like a 50, 60-yard bomb to him. If he catches it, you're going to love it. If he drops it, or if it's broken up or something like that, he's going to be a bust. So Van Jefferson, I'm not really a huge fan of. Ben Skowronek, $200, you got to consider him, man. I really think that $200 for Ben Skowronek, all you need is a couple receptions out of him, and you might be okay. Look, he hasn't done anything this year. We know that. But can he get a random touchdown? Absolutely, I think he can. So you got to consider that. So anything else to add here before we move on to the other side?
No. I think that once we look at the pricing, though, we'll kind of see that it's just, I don't know if I want to go to Van Jefferson at all, right? At 4,800 in the third team option, I'd rather just come over to the other side of the ball. If I'm going to pay for a third team option, you get Scotty Miller or Tyler Johnson for half or a third of the price. Yeah,
GT 500 isn't too high on the Rams, and he thinks Brady's going to win another championship. I wouldn't doubt it. I really wouldn't.
I don't mean to be a dick here, but this almost, the comment seems kind of tongue in cheek. It's hard to read emotion when you're reading a text message because Tom Brady is going to win this game, man. Like,
I agree with you. I fully agree with you. Mike Evans at 10.4K, expensive as hell, but he's the number one guy clearly in this offense. This dude has caught so many. I think he's like fourth or fifth on the list of, it might even be third on the list of touchdown receptions from Tom Brady in his career, and he's played like not even 2 full seasons with the dude yet, which is interesting. So Mike Evans, without Godwin, he's going to be the number one target. Cyril Grayson's out, so I'm going to uncheck him just so you guys know. So that leaves Tyler Johnson at 2,200 as technically the number 2 wide receiver here. You got Scotty Miller, and look, you got a guy like John Brown, just recently signed. Is he active? Would you look that up?
He's not inactive.
I didn't see him as inactive. Was he on the practice squad? Chad, if you guys know about this, let us know. I honestly could not find a lot of information on John Brown, but you got a Bruce Arians, former player that is a speed demon. They need some help here. If he is actually active here and he's actually playing, I think you got to consider 1 or 2 lineups with John Brown. Jalen Darden is an interesting guy. He's $200, but he's mainly kind of a special teams guy. He hasn't recorded a fantasy point since like week 11 or something. So yeah, week 11 was last time he recorded a fantasy point. So I know he's $200, but he's a special teams guy. He's probably not getting on the field with offense too much. So Ellie, we got to prioritize Mike Evans here. I mean, look, if Mike Evans has a bad game, this team's probably not going to win the game. So if you think they're going to win the game, if you're doing a lot of Buccaneers stacks, I really think that Mike Evans is the way to go, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I love Mike Evans today. I don't know what else to say. I love Mike Evans today. Honestly, I think you're going to be able to get to him. I completely forgot John Brown was on this team. And with this additional news, without Cyril Grayson, John Brown is a kind of a unique player because this isn't a new offense to him. What did he play in the system? 2-3 years?
Yeah.
So like he's showing up to a system that he already knows. He probably knows the defense better than some of the backups, right? This is literally the same coaching staff that was here in Arizona.
Yeah.
So it's very possible they just plug him in immediately and say, hey, go run the smoky route that we ran in 2015.
Yeah.
So at $200, I think that's an interesting punt option to allow you to get to Mike Evans. And initial ownership projections on Mike Evans are pretty low. I would jam the over on that, even given his pricing. I mean, you should have 50 to 60%. It's going to be him, Gronk, or these random backups. I mean, listen. So Tom Brady's wide receiver core today is Mike Evans, Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, John Brown, and Jalen Darden. Darden's going to be doing punt returns and kick returns mostly. John Brown could line up in the slot, man. He could be jacking shit up from the slot. And have John Brown and Scotty Miller on the opposite side of each other running up the seam. Like, what are you supposed to do in a cover 2 with no safeties, right? Yeah. You're all backup safety. So anyways, I'm not saying necessarily play John Brown, but I'm saying that I think there's going to be some options that allow you to play Mike Evans.
And look, John Brown is I saw the same tweet you did. There's a blue check mark next to a guy who's saying he's active. So I'm going to just, before I build, I'm double checking. But as of now, we're going to consider him active. Please double check for us if you don't mind. We are live. But look, one thing to talk about with Mike Evans here, man, is we got Jalen Ramsey guarding him. So that's going to be interesting. Last time they played the Rams, what week was that? Was that week 3? That was week 3 that the BUCS won, and he had 10 targets, 8 receptions, 106 yards. That was with Godwin, so hey, it's kind of hard to actually judge that.
Jalen Ramsey doesn't play that anymore this season. He doesn't doesn't shadow. He plays kind of a roaming safety.
Okay.
And every once in a while he'll take over the one receiver, but a lot of the time he's kind of just he's just a wild card out there on defense. He doesn't do that anymore.
So when we get to building, we're going to move on here. But when we get to building, I think Tyler Johnson, Scotty Miller, these two guys, potentially even a guy like John Brown, these are kind of your bottom, and Brait, OJ Howard, these are like your last position guys that you're going to want to plug in. I think you rotate Johnson, Scotty Miller out, as well as with Brait. Let's just move over to tight end here. So Rob Gronkowski, 7,800. Cameron Brait, 2,600. OJ Howard, 800. Gronk is in a smash spot here in theory. 7,800 is a good price for him. And 7,800 for him is a great captain option, obviously. I think he'll be the third highest owned captain on the slate because of his price. So we always got to consider Cameron Brate and OJ Howard, more so Cameron Brate. But what are your thoughts here on the tight end position here for the Bucs?
I mean, so look, the rant that we just went off about on the wide receivers, I think that it's very important to be paying attention to these tight ends. At some point, it is possible that just because John Brown doesn't understand the system, he may not have that chemistry with Tom Brady, right? We know that Tom Brady likes Cameron Brate, and we know that he likes OJ Howard from time to time. At $800, I'm not going to be opposed to taking the lineup with OJ Howard, and at $2,600, I don't mind getting a little bit of Cameron Brate, right? I'm sorry, I got you like seizing over here on the mouse trying to click on these names, but I really think that all three of these guys are in play. Rob Gronkowski is one of my favorite plays on the slate. I think he's just grossly underpriced, considering the amount of usage that he sees with Tom Brady. Like him and Tom Brady, right? Like they're the most prolific playoff duo in the history of the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't understand why DraftKings would just leave the bait out here. Here's 7,800 Gronk.
They want us to lose money. Either lose money or win money, nothing in between, because I'm going to go heavy on Gronk. Yeah. And you kind of need him to score a touchdown and get 6-7 receptions in a game like this. And I don't doubt it. I mean, like you said, this is playoff time, man. Like Gronk and Brady, there's not a lot of guys that Brady trusts on this team necessarily. You got Gronk, you got playoff Lenny, you got Mike Evans. Those are guys he's used to. And he's making all these other, no offense to Tyler Johnson, but kind of scrubs, guys who shouldn't be playing as much. He's making them a lot better. You got to consider all these guys. Highly heavy on Gronk in this game. Even last week, he didn't have a great game. Still got a touchdown there at the end. Let's hope he does that again. Let's move on to the other side. Not a whole lot to talk about here. You've got Tyler Higbee, 5,400. To me, Tyler Higbee's a fade. And if he beats me, if Tyler Higbee scores a touchdown and goes off, it is what it is. With him, he's going to be 20 to 30% owned. He's middle of the road priced, and you see his numbers here, man. He goes off. When he goes off, he goes off. So I might consider him throwing out one or two captain lineups, but I'm more think he's going to end up in this 7-8 fantasy point range, and I don't know if that's going to do enough for you at that price. Thoughts?
Oh, I agree with you. I just don't have much interest in Tyler Higbee. I think we may end up a little bit there just because we're going to be in just this middling area of like Michelle, Higbee, Bernard, and Bond. And like out of those names, I think I'm more comfortable with maybe Michelle or Higbee. But, we'll have to adjust how we build our roster if that's kind of where we're stuck.
All right, so we're going to kickers here. We've seen kickers dominate these last two games, or at least end up in the optimal quite a bit yesterday. You got Matt Gay at 4K, Ryan Suckoff at 3,800. I think you got to consider both of them. They're decent value, and if we've learned anything yesterday, you just got to be kind of with the field when it comes to these kickers, because you get a couple 50-yard kicks from a guy like Matt Gay. He's probably going to end up in the optimal, with 12, 13 fantasy points at 4K. Do we care about these guys any more than we usually do?
No, I think you just cap it one. You probably need one, though, just because they're priced so well.
Defense, Buccaneers, 3,600. Rams, 3,400. I think both of these are in play. I don't care if this is going to be a shootout. It doesn't matter to me. I think the Rams can absolutely cause some damage. The Buccaneers, in my opinion, I like them a lot more because we've seen a lot of mistakes out of Stafford this year. He's been a good quarterback, but he can come out and throw a pick six. There's no doubt about it. All you need is one of those. You need a couple sacks and a pick six, and the Buccaneers defense at 3,600 could land in the optimal. Thoughts on these defenses, Ellie?
Yeah, I'm just going to say both are in play, especially after getting it wrong last night with San Francisco.
All right, so we're moving on to our fades here. All right, Ellie, you're not really interested in fading anybody today. If you were forced to fade one guy with a gun to your head, who do you think that would be? Or one lineup build construction or something like that?
I honestly think I might prioritize fading the backfields from both teams.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just like the pass catchers too much in this.
I'm not huge on Higbee, like I said. I I'll throw him at captain in like a few lineups just in case if he does go off and get you 2 touchdowns or something. But I'm gonna fade him in the flex for the most part. I might only have like 10% of him. It's a little scary, but like on this slate, you just got to make some bold choices, and that might be one of them. But it wouldn't surprise me if he only came out and got like 3 or 4 receptions for like 50 yards. It would not surprise me at all. All right, so now we're going with our captain choice here. In the chat, let us know what you guys think your favorite captain choice is going to be.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
We're crowning their ass. Ellie, Gronk for you. Evans for me. Talk to me, Goose.
Yeah, I'm not even sure there's anything to say here. He's just obscenely mispriced. The only reason that I think you might fade him a little bit more is just if he comes in at like 35% ownership at captain. But even then, like, I just don't know that there's anybody that gives you the flexibility to build and still not be as chalky as the rest of the field.
Yeah, agreed. Let's get the lineup build set up here. Let us know in the chat if you guys want to see anything specific builds. We're going to try to wrap the show up quick so everybody can start building their lineups here. We've got 45 minutes to lock ish. Let's move over to the lineup build. Let's look at this opto here. Let's just see what it plugs for us. Tyler Johnson at captain. Now, Kyle was bringing this up, and I think it's worth a couple shots because if you're putting Tyler Johnson at captain, you're not necessarily expecting him to have a career day and have 2 touchdown catches and 100 yards. You want a touchdown catch and, a decent game for him so that you can plug in all the studs in the flex. I don't think it's necessary in this particular game, but that's just me. You got Higbee, Fournette, Stafford, Brady, and Kupp in this lineup. That's a solid core there. I'd probably switch out Higbee with somebody else, but let's build our own lineups here. So who do you want to start with? You want to start with Gronk?
Yeah, let's start with Gronk.
All right.
And let's throw in both quarterbacks just to see how tough it is to build.
So I want to talk about our more of our process here when we're building instead of just jamming guys in. So first, I'm choosing my captain. He's a little bit lower price. So now I know I probably have a chance to fit both quarterbacks in if I wanted to. That's my next decision. Do I want 1? Do I want 2? Well, I'm going to go with 2 for now to see how it is. And my next decision is I got to fit in some Tom Brady pass catchers here. Or, look, we got to talk about Cooper Kupp. We're going to have to put Cooper Kupp in this lineup. So let's start with him. We could fade him in one build, but look, now you're looking at 6,100. So even with Gronk at captain, he's a little bit lower priced. You almost have to fade one of the quarterbacks, So let's fade one of these quarterbacks. We're going to have to. I want to put Kupp in this lineup. You want to go with Brady instead of Stafford here and throw Kupp in the flex?
Sure.
All right, so that leaves us with about 5,300 per spot. So now, like I said, we want to think about another pass catcher for Tom Brady, or do we want to go with playoff Lenny?
I'm fine with playoff Lenny here. We're going to end up needing another pass catcher from Tom Brady anyways, because that's still where the value is.
You're right. So basically, it comes down to Fournette or Evans for this particular lineup. Since we have Gronk at captain, we're going to go Fournette. 7,100. Let's find our value first. You want to go down and get Tyler Johnson here right off the bat?
Let's go to Shelby Miller or Scotty Miller, just because I think he's got more upside.
Scotty Miller, 5,500 for the last spot. Leaves us with some decent options. You got Higbee, you've got Bernard, Keyshawn Vaughn, Van Jefferson, or you can go all the way down, leave some money on the table, and go with one of the kickers here. So those are your options. I highly suggest rotating all these guys out if you're doing, a couple 20 maxes. Who do you like the most, though, if you had to choose? Would you go with a guy like Gio Bernard with Fournette, or are you going with like Van Jefferson or something?
It's either going to be Van Jefferson or Matt Gay.
All right, I'll save that here. All right, let's. Do you want to do a 2 quarterback lineup without Kupp here?
I want to do a 2 quarterback lineup with Kupp.
Interesting. Okay. Hey, I like it. Let's do it. Kupp. That means we're fading Evans. That means we're fading all the other studs here. We're gonna have to put in super value. Tyler Johnson.
Yep.
3,900. That gets you Ryan Suckoff.
Do it.
Or it gets you either defense. It's not bad, actually. I don't hate that. Let me save all these here.
You can actually just drop that down to Tyler Johnson too. Not Tyler Johnson, but put in Scotty Miller.
Scotty Miller too.
Yeah, I don't hate that. It's risky, but it's fine. Like again, if you're gonna be doing something that's that chalky that has both quarterbacks, Cooper Kupp and Gronk, you're probably gonna need to do something crazy.
All right, let's put Kupp at captain and see what we have to do. Let's optimize and see what happens. Ben Skowronek and Tyler Johnson, both quarterbacks.
Pop out Skowronek and put in. I mean, bro, put in John Brown.
John Brown, baby. Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
I fully expect to lose all my entries that he's involved in, but hey, you never know. That gets us. You want to come off of Stafford or Brady?
No, come off of Lenny. Go down to Gronk. What can we come off of with? What does that give us to bump up Tyler Johnson?
It gets us 4,100. It gets us all the kickers.
Matt Gay. Either of those are actually fine. Suck up and Matt Gay. And the thing is here is you can max out your salary because nobody's playing John Brown.
John Brown would be less than 1% owned, like guaranteed.
Right. Like, and look, I'm not saying go and put 5% of each of these dudes in your lineups, but like I don't mind Miller, Brown, Durden, Tyler Durden, whatever his name is, Jalen Durden. Right, these guys are going to get some run today, and if one of them pops off, that's it.
All right, we're going to build with Mike Evans here. I think this will be our last lineup, unless anybody in the chat wants to see us build with another captain. So we've got Mike Evans. He's a little bit higher of a price captain. We're going to have to make a decision between one or the other quarterback here. Do you want to do a Stafford lineup, even though it's a little bit counterintuitive with Mike Evans at the captain?
You know what? No, I think that's fine. Let's actually do a Stafford lineup, and then we can use our other BUCS player to be Lenny, and that lets us fade Tom Brady.
Yes, love it. All right, we're going Lenny. We haven't messed with Cam Akers or Sony Michel at all, but it's kind of hard to get to him, to be honest. Where do we go now? We got to go Cooper Kupp, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
4K. So we can go down and grab a Tyler Johnson, a Cameron Brate, a Scotty Miller. Those guys are all interchangeable at this point.
Actually, throw in Cameron Brate and Scotty Miller. Do we have enough to do that? Or no? Damn it.
That was close. But OJ Howard and Cameron Brate. No, I'm not doing that. Ben Skowronek. I think you got to go down. I think you got to go down to Tyler Johnson here, so you can get a guy like Scotty Miller as well. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to put 2 pass catchers without Tom Brady. 3 pass catchers. That's not happening. So we got to do something else here, man.
Well, how about this? What if we go? Like, I don't want to be too crazy here, but let's go with the fade here. Put instead of Cooper Kupp, let's throw in Odell, and then can we get Van?
We can get Van.
And then we can get something that's a punt.
2,200. That's right in our zone. That's Tyler Johnson. No salary left on the table.
How much is Cameron Brate again? He's like a little bit.
He's a couple more bucks. He's $400 more.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think it's pretty clear what you have to do. If you're going high end with the captains, I think you absolutely have to fade one of the quarterbacks, in my opinion, or you fade Cooper Kupp. If you want to go middle range guy like Gronk, Cam Akers, Sony Michel, Higbee, you can definitely throw in both quarterbacks. It's a little risky though, man. So thoughts on some of the stuff we've seen while building? Any advice to give while we're signing out here when it comes to roster construction?
Don't be afraid to get weird, man. This is the playoffs. I know we said it a little bit yesterday, but this is where you're going to see some random shit. You're going to see some balls chucked up from Tom Brady to John Brown, and not John Brown specifically, but don't be afraid to take some backups from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you have anybody just throwing random passes to a player, I think the quarterback you want is Tom Brady. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm going to be rotating all these random dudes from the Bucs in.
I think Tom Brady cashes his ticket to another championship game in this game. I think LA loses 35-21. Did I say 21 at the beginning of the game? Something like that. What are your thoughts, man? We're probably going to be wrong because it's the NFL and we saw what happened yesterday, but you got to be heavily leaning towards the Bucs here, right?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 27-23 Tampa.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Throw us a like, subscribe. We're trying to hit that 500 subscriber count. As soon as we do, we will give away those 2 cards, the BURROW and the what's his bucket? Herbert. And we will see you guys for the show tonight, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.